After 3 weeks of hard work maintaining Mir in our home port of Benuedang Bay, Bali, it was time to depart again. After returning from our sail to Jakarta due to bad weather, we had to make a new plan for where to dry dock. For this, we chose Bitung, Sulawesi, and to do it at the end of April. But first, we had to get Mir out of and back into Indonesia again in order to secure a new 3-year permit for the ship. Our plan was to sail Mir to Kupang, a city in the southeast corner of Indonesia. Here we would clear out of Indonesia so we could then clear into Dili, Timor-Leste. After both clearing in and out of Dili, we would finally enter back into Indonesia by sailing 10 days north to the city of Bitung. Our journey east was to begin with the island of Moyo. We have spent much time here over the years and have implemented all of our environmental programs here. Coral transplanting, education in schools, and home gardens with local villagers. Unfortunately, the day we were to arrive the island, the weather was not in our favor. Our favorite weather prediction app, Predict Wind, foretold that wind coming in from the northwest would arrive the same day as Mir, bringing 25 knots of wind straight into the bay. This meant that the town of Labuan Aji would be impossible to anchor nearby. We would have to continue east, hoping that the weather would improve and we could find a safe anchorage again somewhere else in Nusa Tengarra. Approximately 4 hours after we pushed past Moyo Island, the calm sea quickly turned into a surging mass of white water as wind came down upon us. Luckily, we were ready for it. With all of our sails raised, Mir began to pick up speed. At first we were sailing at 5 knots. This feels a bit like a typical summer's day sailing experience. But we then began to pick up momentum, and our speed over ground increased to 6, 7, 8, 9, and then finally 10 knots. When Mir sails at this speed, she takes on so much wind that the boat tilts to the leeward side, making the boat operate at about a 20-degree angle or so. This pushes everyone and everything to that side, making life strange at first because you are always either walking up or downhill. At 10 knots, the sails begin to pump, making sounds that fill the air with the feeling of power. The wind whistles through the sails so loudly, and the waves slap the boat so fully that your body feels connected to the ocean in a way that isn't matched by much else. As the calm feeling of control leaves your body, your heart begins to pound as your hands grip the helm with extra force and focus. As Mir began to dance in the wind slicing through the oncoming waves, she would eventually hit 11 knots and climax at 11.3. For the next 24 hours, Mir would use this wind to soar forward through the night, staying strong through the blistering storm. The next day, the ocean would become even bigger, as the waves began to reach 3 to 4 meters high. The wind also increased as it reached 32 knots in strength. Meanwhile, our foresail crew began to rip apart. The foresail is our most dependable and helpful sail in big weather, and to see it beginning to break meant that we were no longer safe sailing in these types of seas. It also meant it was time to find a safe harbor to anchor in and repair it. We had prepared for this potential situation and knew that safe anchorage rested just a 1-day sail away. Our hopeful anchorage was the large bay of Bima, the capital city of Sumbawa. We didn't know it just yet, but this would become our new home for quite some time.
Ya, kita sekarang lagi ada di Bima. Kita lagi berada di utara Pulau Sumbawa. Kita sebentar lagi akan memasuki channel dan mengarah menuju kota Bima.